Facts and Opinions. Keisha Bottoms, 60th mayor of Atlanta, has introduced T.I. and Killer Mike to her advisory team. It's a 38-person transition team, and basically their responsibilities are going to be to represent a tremendous amount of diversity and depth, and really the best and the brightest in the city of Atlanta. Quoted by Ms. Bottom.
Yes.
If you know anything about T.I. and Killer Mike, during the course of the campaign, they actually endorsed
very active
Keisha Bottoms.
They were very active.
You know, big ups to them actually, you know, getting into
that's
the politics
what I'm talking about. That's what
city.
hip hop is about, getting involved, and that's what we be talking about.
Yeah, so she definitely, like I was telling you guys in the previous episode, she definitely is like in hand with the culture of Atlanta. Not only with,
she's very in tune,
you know, just
and
hip-hop,
they're
but the
very
younger generation as well too.
Absolutely, they're very influential. T.I. is very influential. Killer Mike is very influential. So since this is facts and opinion, what's your opinion? Do you think
my opinion on it? I like it. I mean, of course, you know, everybody has their opinions on them being on there. I mean, of course, it was a time where Killer Mike changed his name to Mike Bigger to try to get, you know, to break into corporate America. But at the same time, you know, these are people's lives. This is what people lived. I mean, like I tell you guys all the time, you know, the country was based off, you know, crooks. You know, was brought up by crooks. And I mean, you can't fault a man for having a name like Killer Mike or T.I., what they speak about in their music, because this is what they live. However, with those experiences, them being from the city, they do have the power to change, not only with their voice, but the things that they're doing in the community as far as their philanthropy and, you know,
so do you
other
think
things
that
of that nature.
Killer Mike's name being Killer Mike is gonna,
I think it hurts him sometimes. I do think it hurts him sometimes, but at the same time, he's so
active. It's undeniable.
And educated.
Yes.
To the point you can't
There's nothing
discredit
you can say.
him,
No.
you know, for anything, you know, that
because
he
he's
said.
done it with that name, Killer Mike, and
even,
he's done very
even
well.
if you listen to his music, he doesn't necessarily speak about killing. You know what I mean? I mean, the worst thing that he's ever had in his lyrics was about him selling drugs and his mom selling drugs. But that's just, like I said, that was just his upbringing.
Right.
But he was always, I mean, even from, you know, the beginning, you know, he's always been educational with his music and his mixtapes.
Right.
You know, so same thing with T.I. I mean, you know, to each his own. Some people gonna agree with it, some people won't.
When he first came out, his name was Killer Mike with ER.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't want to sign him.
Oh.
Sign him because they wanted him to change him.
Right.
That's why he changed to Killer Love Mike.
With the A.
Said, this is where I'm from. Like, I'm speaking about things that I went through.
Right.
Exactly.
They tried a long time ago. They tried. He was like, let's get it around. But now,
I mean,
Kill Love, but I won't change what it is.
I mean, he could be named whatever. Like, to me, he's still gonna be.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, since we speaking on this topic about politics and things of that nature, like, you know, the Boondocks predicted this, you know, some years ago.
Shoot.
How do you feel about Oprah, like, running?
Why
for the
are
next
we even
presidential
talking
campaign?
about that? She never said she, like, why is that? Why?
I'm just asking you, how would you feel about it? How would you feel about it? And do you think
I think it would be good.
And do you think from a hip hop standpoint, do you think she would bring a few people, not necessarily in the office, but a few people to help endorse, or do you think that'll?
I think that
just your overall opinion in regards.
I think
to
that we as Americans don't think globally enough, and I think that Oprah would. I mean, we're gonna need whoever is the next president to fix the shit,
right?
Because there's a lot of shit now, right? I mean, globally, internationally, we just look like a bunch of idiots. So whoever this person is gonna be like the cleanup person, and who's more hospitable, and who's more open, and who's more like, you know, than Oprah, like well-known, well-respected, you know, if not for her foreign policy agenda, which President Trump ran without one. So it's like, just being her, I think she would do a pretty good job.
Hey, do y'all think it's crazy that the standard of a president is different now? Like, we're looking at celebrities as presidents now. Like,
he's white, so it's all right.
That's what a friend of mine said, telling me.
You just said Oprah was the president in 2020. Oprah has no political experience.
Absolutely right.
It's crazy that we don't even look.
But it's not crazy. You know why?
And that's what she was saying. She said she feel like the next president should have a degree in politics.
Well,
You know
I don't
what mean?
think
They
that
should
it
stand for
matters
something.
anymore because I think that this guy that's the president right now is a physical embodiment of American values. We did this. I mean, we love people that have no talent. They're all over our TV.
Right.
We're all on our radio. Like, we don't have any standards anymore, no morals, no moral compass. So he's just a physical embodiment of all that we do anyway. He
Right.
represents us. And so I don't feel like, everybody else does every time he does something like, oh my God, he said that Haiti was a shit. Of course he did. That's who he is. And you know what? I always say, and I always quote, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And he's been showing us that since the beginning. He never showed us anything else. And everybody said, drain the swamp, drain the swamp. They don't want political figures anymore. They want somebody to be real. Like, now this is what we got. But just like I said, we don't have anything that says that we value anything anymore. So that's why we have a president that has no moral compass, because neither do we.
I think, man, not to be wrong, but I think we just so caught up in entertainment.
Right.
Like, we wanna be
He's an entertainer.
entertained in what we do. And I think even with Trump, I always feel like the president was a puppet anyway. Even when Barack Obama was in office, they just kind of faked. They not really in charge of making, because what is it? It's a branch that makes a decision. Like they can
Veto.
Yeah, they can veto what the president say at the end of the day. So
Absolutely.
how much power do the president really got? Are they just a face?
He's just the face, but he has the ultimate decision-making power. And because the Republicans are so hell-bent on their reputation and, party affiliation, they are not going to go against this guy because he pledged as a Republican. And it's like way, way beyond what we think. Like, what's your football team? The Cincinnati Bengals, right? So no matter if they win or lose, you're down with them, right? That's how these Republicans are. They're like, I don't give a fuck if this guy is like talking shit, cursing people out, insulting people. He's a Republican and this is who I have to go by.
I think some of them hate it.
I mean, they hate that they've had to do that, but they're doing it. I mean, he beat 17 people, and most of them joined his team.
Again, though, money talk. Like, money got him to where he's at.
Right.
Talking shit about
Right.
him got him to where he's at, like, because bad publicity really got him. Like, we can keep talking about Trump, so we making him a trending topic.
But that's
Right.
exactly right.
Right.
We
Right.
keep talking about
There's no such thing as bad publicity. So every
that's why
time,
Trump, because we kept talking about
absolutely,
it. We keep talking about it.
if it's bad or if it's good, as many times as you bring him up or anything that you think that you're hurting, you're actually helping them, because there's no such thing as bad publicity.
And him as a
That's
business,
why.
he understands that. So that's why he keeps doing what he just
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With this identity that this mask that he been put on, or it might be.
But it's scary and it's sad because, it's all open to interpretation, right? So you might be from another country and we don't do that here. So what he's doing, I don't have an interpretation for that. So I take everything literally. So that's not cool, but that's where your foreign policy and the way that you deal with foreign governments comes into play. And nobody saw that this dude didn't have that because he was a businessman. So they thought that he could negotiate. But, when you got money, you don't have to be the one to negotiate.
Absolutely.
You might send your boys in there to do it. But you can't do that
Absolutely.
in the government. It's crazy. Like, the world that we knew no longer exists. It's over. So we have to try to create a better world. But what's going to happen is everybody's going to go back to our core values because it's like we lost them.
And I want to say, to go back to your point about, could Oprah be the next?
She
Could be.
She could
and I
be.
want to say that because, and I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I don't like politics.
I don't like the jargon that politics.
But that's the
uses,
problem.
you know what I'm
Us
saying?
as black people, because
We
we
don't
don't
like
like
it.
it,
Yeah.
we don't necessarily pay attention to
very,
it.
And that's
Right.
very, very true. That's why I say segments like this is very important, because for people like me who don't care about that shit.
Right.
You don't, but see, this is the thing that we do, right? We black people, we say, oh, you know, I don't really like politics. And so I don't really want to be informed. I just want to turn this off and watch the game. But while you're watching the game, a whole bunch of shit
bunch
that's
of
going to
going on.
affect
No,
you
for sure.
is going on.
For sure.
So it's like
I believe
you
that.
have to.
Right.
And even if it's not you, your wife, your kid, somebody has to know what's going on.
Right.
One person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like even the news outlets have turned toward more entertainment because nobody wants to hear it, but you got to.
But that's why Trump's
But
there.
that's just like a
That's
like,
why we're
like
here.
the whole situation.
That's why
Did you hear
you
about the
guys are
situation where it was like a crying wolf, Amber Alert?
The what in Hawaii?
Yes, you seen
Oh, I heard- I
that?
heard
Amber
about- I heard
Alert, that
about
was a damn missile. Are you kidding me? That missile went out on the phone and it said, this is not a drill. A missile has been launched and find
But they said
seek
it
shelter.
was false. They said it was,
After 40 minutes, after people was calling their loved ones saying they about to die, you gotta pick which kid, find out which kid you could pick up to die with and all that stuff. That was crazy.
That's wild.
But that's the climate that we're in.
For sure.
That's the climate that we're in right now. It's like they use fear and they try to scare us, but they're the ones that are really scared. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just pay attention to what's going on. It's a
absolutely.
lot.
Was that what was steaming in your cup? Was that your cocoa with Kymmy?
No.